Welcome back, everybody, for another review. I'm Joshua Ozzy with the Uncharted Vapers. Today, we're going to be doing a juice review. And the review is actually going to be on Nic Salt. So, I've got 6 of the 7 flavors in the lineup. They were sent to me for the purposes of the review. And I'm going to show you 3 devices that I used to test out basically how they would perform in different, whether it's a tank or a pod that I had, to kind of give you an understanding, and then it allowed me to be able to give you more of an accurate feedback and review. Now remember, my reviews are based on my opinion. So what we're going to be reviewing today, sorry I can't hold them all up at one time, but it is the juice line by DenKat. So it is called SaltNic. Very simple to call. 7 different flavors. This particular one is Malakoi, which is like a cake, an Asian cake flavor. Then of course you have one called oatmeal. You have another one called Reds, which is a strawberry mint. Now, the mint is not mentholated. It's actually a colada, which is the difference of cracking your tank and not cracking your tank, but still getting that desired cool feeling. Next one, watermelon mint. Self-explanatory. It's watermelon with a cooling effect of colada, so it's like a mint. Then we have caramel RY4. And the last one I have in this lineup for right now is nutty cookie. The one I'm missing is called toasted bread. So with that, I'm going to show you a couple devices that I've used and tanks that I use in this process. I've got one set up actually on a device that's going to be reviewed at a future date. One of the devices I've already reviewed before, and you can see it in my channel. And the other one, I've done the device update. Okay, here we go. Let's learn English. The review has also been done on this device, which is the Datu Mod by DPM. And one thing I'm going to do, soon, is a review on the Integra for myself. Even though it's been done, I'm still going to have one done for me. And so, we're going to start off. The Artery Pal SE. I'm personally using the 1.4 ohm pods in this. They have a 1 ohm coil as well, and they just recently released a new pod. The new pods, I think, are only at 1.2, and what they do is they eliminate a little bit of the juice that comes up because of the way these tips and pods were made, and it eliminates all that. It's not spit back, it's just when you're vaping, the coil is right there by the mouthpiece, so some juice does come up. So with that, they eliminate it and fix that issue, and it makes a little bit more of a tighter draw, even though I love how this thing draws. The next one is going to be the Pico, and as you see, what it's setting on is a pipe, or what looks to be a pipe. This is the Pico V2, and I've got it run down to 3 holes inside, and this is a mechanical mod. It's an 18350. More of that will be gone over in the review for it, but just to give you an idea, I mean, I've always been anti-SaltNic because it's been so harsh. A lot of people are like, it's harsh, it's, it blows your throat out, because I only usually vape a 3 milligram or 3 mg. And with that, I can't even handle the majority of the time a 6 milligram. So I was like, okay, so all of a sudden one day I got a package in when I ordered some coils, and they're like, hey, review this for us. Okay. So I did. That's what I'm doing now. And I was like, SaltNic, great, I'm going to die. So that's what I seriously thought about. That we were going to die. I was like, COVID's here, and they sent me SaltNic, so they're trying to kill me off before the disease does. So I've actually been using this stuff. As you see, I've used a good portion of this bottle here of the Caramel RY4, which is loaded in the Pal SE, and I've used some of the Nutty Cookie as well, which this is the remaining amount inside of the Pico V2 that I've gone through in about a day. And this SaltNic here is actually 30 milligrams. Okay, and what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go through each flavor profile as I've vaped each one of these and tested them out. I've tested them in the Integra itself, okay, in closing down the airflow. It allowed it to be more of a restrictive hit, so it allowed more of the use of SaltNic. With that, all my builds and everything I do is over 1 ohm, which is my personal opinion you want to have on a SaltNic. 30 milligrams of salt nicotine generally is pretty harsh, but let me show you something. This stuff hits just like a 3 milligram almost. You still get a little bit more of a hit, but it doesn't make my throat sore. It doesn't tickle my throat. It gives me just the right amount of hit, and depending on what I'm hitting it on, I may feel a little bit in my chest, but not very much. I usually get more of a harsher hit out of a 6 milligram than I have off of this 30. So as you see, that's on a mech mod. So now let's go over to the PAL SE. Now, this was just refilled pretty much a little while ago. And as you see, it's very smooth. I'm able to take a hit, not cough or gag, and I really enjoy it. This is by far the best SaltNic I've ever had. I've tried many others. You know, I've tried the N800 kit. That stuff there, like literally, as soon as you take a hit, you're gagging. You're like spinning around trying to go to outer space. So, didn't work so well. And the reason why I like the PAL SE is because you have the drag pull option and you also have a fire button. And as you see, I can take a hit. It doesn't hurt. I can still talk as if I'm using, say, 3 milligrams, like in my billet box. And it's the same. The effect is there. That one there, I just got a little bit more vapor. That was it. This is not really designed. Anything I got up here is not right now designed for, you know, a big hit. And in here, there's a little bit left inside of my Integra. Let's see, make sure I have a battery life on it because it's been setting. Yeah. Still good. And I opened it up this time with all the airflow in it, and it still doesn't bother me, and that's at 19.5 watts. So, and the build is only at a 1.57. This is the 1.4 ohm coil, and if I remember right, this is ohming in around a 1.5 as well. The coil inside of here is ohming out, I love these doors on this box, a 1.22. So I know I could put, you know, if I had a mouth-to-lung bridge, or, you know, I wanted to, I can restrict down the borrow that or the bridge that's inside of here, which is the Zeta, and put the smaller airflow in and run the SaltNic into this, and it would be just fine. So, let's go over the flavor profiles. So, Nutty Cookie, self-explanatory. It's a cookie with a peanut butter or a peanut taste to it. And actually, you get the flavor of the Nutty Cookie. You're not getting nicotine like you do with most SaltNics. You're getting a very nice, saturated flavor of a Nutty Cookie. Alright? So, that was a big thumbs up for me. Caramel, however you want to say it, RY4. Well, RY4 is a caramel tobacco. So this is basically a double caramel tobacco. And so I get a nice sweet tobacco taste off the caramel tobacco. So it's also a thumbs up for me. Let's grab another one. Watermelon mint. So I'm not a person of cooling or mints or menthols. You know, that's not my, you know, personal preference. But I still got a taste of watermelon. I got that nice watermelon hint. It wasn't overpowering. It had a nice cooling effect. So it blended very well. And I had to say it still was very good. So if you like watermelon and mints and you want a little bit more and you're more on the mouth to lung side, well, here you go. Pick up the SaltNic watermelon mint. Reds, which is a strawberry mint. Same thing. Strawberries with a cooling effect. I did get a nice strawberry flavor, and it wasn't that artificial flavor that, you know, a lot of strawberries have. And I still got the nicotine, obviously, satisfaction with it being salt nicotine and 30 milligrams. And I'm going to tell you at the end what's really amazing at the end about this juice versus most of them. Now, this is the one of the ones that was odd to me, and I'll just be honest about it. It's oatmeal, and it literally tasted like I was vaping or eating, may I say, because I was vaping, obviously. Duh. Oatmeal, and it tasted as if I was eating it. So the flavor profile is spot on. It's amazing if you like oatmeal. You know, I'm not an oatmeal person, but if you are, perfect juice to have. It's still a good juice. I'm not going to say it's bad at all. Last one, Malakoi. It's basically like an Asian fluffy cake, or like a pound cake, from like an Asian pound cake that's not sweet. It's very mild sweetness. To me, you definitely get like a cakey taste, and it's not very sweet. It's just very mild. It's just there, and it's just a great blend. So all of them, you know, you got great blends. Can't talk about toasted bread because I never tried it yet, so I'll be honest. Now, most people talk about salt nicotine having to be a 50-50 ratio for it to work right. Well, I've always said if you added a little bit more of the flavoring side, you would get more flavor. Everybody's like, no, you can't do it. All SaltNics have to be 50-50. Well, SaltNic by DenKat is 60-40. 60 PG, 40 VG. The VG is what hits your throat, so that's what makes this a lot smoother. So that's why I think this comes out, or I can say this comes out much smoother. Or the PG is what is higher, so that is what gives you the throat hit. But the way they added I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, I may have mixed them up, but no, I was right. So it's 60 VG, so I was right for the flavoring, because the VG is carrying flavoring, and then the PG on this, which is what gives you the throat hit, is only at 40. That's why it's so smooth. So that's what it is. I had to look at the bottle and think for a second. PG, the higher your PG, the more of a hit you're going to get. The higher your VG, the more vapor production you can get. That's why you see juices at 70-30, 75-25, 80-20 when you find them. And there's been some juices I've seen that were almost 100%. They were 90-10 or 95-5. Actually, there was one before in the US that used to come out, but it's not made anymore. So, with that, I mean, all I can say is that between all the flavors in here, my personal favorite two are going to be the Nutty Cookie and the Caramel RY4. Are my favorite of the line. And I vape them every day. The other lines, if you're into the mentholated but don't want to crack, say, your tank because it's a PMMA tank or a plastic tank, you're going to be okay with watermelon mint and reds. It will not crack your tank, or should not, because it's colada, not menthol, which is the difference of all of it. Then if you're into oatmeal and you like it, there you go. Oatmeal, you have your oatmeal and you have your nicotine satisfaction behind it. If you like cakes or light fluffy cakes but you don't want something sweet, there you go. And last thing is, my coils, when I tested these, I ran them through a ringer, okay? And the SaltNic in these are so good that this coil has been used now for going on, I think, a month, and it's still good. Or pod, sorry, not coil, but the pod. This cotton was just put in yesterday, and it is still purely white. When I ran it in the Integra, I ran a whole tank through it, which is 4 mils, and I pulled it apart just to look at it, and it was as if I just had built it. The deck was clean, the coil was clean, there was no gunkiness, and I even used the mints inside of this to test them out, because usually I feel mint is going to be a little bit more on the hard side, and then I put in Nutty Cookie because it was sweeter. So I ran a tank of that through it. Perfectly fine. Same thing came out. Outcome came in, very clean juice, very clean cotton. My coils are perfectly fine, and everything was good. When I switched over from the mints to the nons, they cleaned out perfectly. When I switched from the nutty side over to the caramel, boom, it cleaned right out. I didn't have a problem with the juice sticking inside of the atomizer itself. And that's a lot of times what you have a problem with when you run a peanut-based juice. You know, it sticks to you. Or not you, but your device. So, you know, at the end of the day, this is my opinions, okay? And from what I've seen, the SaltNic by DenKat has been the cleanest juice, the smoothest nicotine hit, also has been the cleanest, well, I said clean, the smoothest, and the most flavorful juice. Most of the time it's 50-50 mix, therefore I get too harsh of a hit and I can't taste nothing but the nicotine. It's literally as if you're just hitting on nicotine at that point, because I've tried 30s and 50s and 25s, and some of the 25s I've tried were harsher than this. Some of the 20s I've hit were harsher than this. And to me, at that point, this just shows 60-40 can be done. 40 PG, not VG. Okay, so it's taking that harsh hit down, adding the flavor side back up, and that's where it balanced, and then adding the salt nicotine in at 30 milligrams. So with that, that's my personal opinion. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, you know, I'll put some links down in the description below. Join some of the groups I'm a part of. I've now come into not only ProVape community news, I'm also in as a moderator of, what is it called, Vapers, and I don't know, I'll link it in. It's something Vape International, but it's an international group for all vapers, along with our group Uncharted Vapers. Also legit vape owners are a couple of the groups I'm a part of. If you want these juices, you can get with DenKat Sales. Look up DenKat Distribution on Facebook, and I'll link them in below as well, and you can order that from them, as long as with the devices, you know, the PAL SEs, you know, and some of the other pod devices in there that you may like. I personally suggest the SE over you know, most of the other ones, like the Caliburn or the Sprite, whatever you want to call it. But that's my opinion. You know, people ask me my opinions, and I give it to you. The PAL SE to me has been the best. It's a USB device. It's fast charging. It does draw activation or button activation. It literally charges in about 30 minutes. You know, I think it's an 800 mAh battery or 700 mAh internally built battery. But it has a safety feature to let you know when you hit for 8 seconds. If you're hitting on 8 seconds, the battery flashes to let you know. You have a little light on the front right here that will flash on you after 8 seconds. You know, but I usually don't hit for 8 seconds. I'm usually doing, you know, 2 to 5 second hits depending. But yeah, that was the review for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're safe, and don't forget, if you get anything in, clean it with alcohol like I do. Every time I turn around, I'm still using alcohol. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This is Joshua Ozzy, and I'll catch you next time.